You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney. We are coming to you. That's right. This is not the shoulder strikes. I know you people out there are like, wait, what? You don't hear the UFC music. You're a little confused. Yes, we do sports from time to time, ladies and gentlemen, and we like to whenever we have the time. I just, you know what, honestly, the MMA has taken precedent of recent because it's just there's always something to talk about. And we have 2 shows of that a week. It's kind of, we only have so much time in the day, ladies and gentlemen. But again, we are here. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am joined by Ty Capone, as always. Ty, how are you feeling? A rough weekend for your LSU Tigers, but a good weekend for the Eagles, and not so much for the gamblers out there.
Yeah, I did okay, but the Eagles, I was trying to tell people that this game's probably going to be a lot closer than the line suggests, and it was. It was another close victory for the Birds. Listen, you don't get style points for wins, so we're 4-0. Can't really complain about that on the surface, but there definitely are things to question, I guess.
For sure.
But I'm feeling good, though. It's nice out. It's a little windy, finally. It feels and looks amazing outside, so I'm here for the fall weather.
So I guess since we haven't been really, we haven't really talked about the Eagles thus far. We haven't had a sports pod in a little bit, so I guess we should kind of just discuss how you feel overall about the Eagles. I think a lot of the discussion around them is that they've kind of been, underwhelming, or that the team overall has kind of underachieved. But I think that that benchmark or that goal was set based off what they did last year when they came out and just kind of blew teams out to start the season. Honestly, it didn't seem like they were in a close game for the whole first 2 months of the season, and it just felt like they were breezing past everybody that they played. This season, it's a little bit different, but, then again, the result is the same. They are still 4-0. They still have, they've been in close games, but they've taken care of business. And honestly, in some ways, this feels better to me because they have, they are kind of, how do I say this? Just like a little bit more battle tested than maybe they were last year, because it seemed like last year the only couple times they got punched in the mouth, it didn't go well, right? It kind of seemed like last year when things didn't go their way, they didn't go their way, and we lost the game. And I know they probably made some comebacks here and there, but it's just, I don't know. I feel good about the Eagles thus far, and I due to the fact that I think that there's so much more room for them to play better, and they have, a elite offense, capabilities to have an elite offense. That they haven't really shown it consistently, but I think they just need to clean up. Once the defense and offense come together, man, I feel overall pretty good. I don't feel great, but I feel pretty good.
Yeah. The only thing I worry about is the depth of the defense and some of the depth in general. Cam Jurgens is now going to miss a couple weeks, so we're going to have to test the offensive line depth. That's going to be, I don't want to say an issue, but it seemed like the pass blocking against the Commanders was not great. I feel like Hurts, at the very end of his drop had to scramble away multiple times, which is weird considering how stout our O-line usually is. But I think Landon Dickerson has struggled a little bit. He had a couple penalties. I think anytime Sua Opeta comes in, he struggles. One of our worst players this year in general, one of the biggest disappointments has been Dallas Goedert. I haven't really noticed him at all. I haven't seen the 88 ever. There's been a couple times where he's been open and Hurts has missed him, but he's never open from what I can tell. His blocking has been great. He's usually graded out very well in Pro Football Focus every year. He's at the top of the tight ends, pass blocking, run blocking, just, doesn't drop balls. This year he's been very low in pretty much every game. So I don't know what's going on with the tight end position. I think DeAndre Swift is definitely our best running back. I don't think there's any question anymore about that.
No.
I do love Kenny Gainwell, but he's, a 20, 25 snap per game kind of guy. Swift probably 40. 40 plus. All in all, though, our line has been good. I mean, we have two of the best receivers in football. Jalen Hurts is still playing really good. Just the defense kind of worries me. Sam Howell, after laying an absolute just stinker last week against the Bills, rebounds against us and kind of was slicing and dicing us. Mainly in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
When he would go to Terry McLaurin once in a while, whenever Terry was, doing his thing. He's a very good player. Also, always plays well against us, it seems. Curtis, they didn't really do much in the run game, but Sam Howell was able to extend a couple plays that just shouldn't have happened.
Yep.
The touchdown at the very end of the game that set into overtime, I don't know what the thinking was behind putting Josh Jobe one-on-one with Jahan Dotson. There was nobody else in the area. They needed a touchdown. And we had a guy one-on-one with the receiver. I don't know. Just seems like our personnel is our defensive personnel. We get a lot of talk for our defensive front, but we just had issues in the middle of the field, man. I don't know. I think not having any good safeties behind next to Reed Blankenship hurts. Obviously Slay and Bradbury.
Man. Yeah, I
was gonna say, obviously we have them too, but other than that, there's nobody. There's no other corner. There's no other safety, and there's no linebackers. Jordan Davis didn't really do anything at all last night, from what I remember. I mean, the D line in general, other than I want to say Brandon Graham, Jalen Carter was pretty solid. Fletcher Cox has honestly been solid. He shut me up. I was one of his biggest haters. Josh Sweat's been good, but Hassan Reddick, I haven't noticed him all year. He had 5 pressures the other night, 4 hurries, so. At least he's doing that. It was his first game without the cast on his thumb, so I'm not worried about a pass rush at all. I'm just nitpicking here, but Josh Jobe's definitely going to be an issue. Even if Avonte Maddox is healthy, he's an issue. I don't know if it's the secondary or I should say the defensive coordinator. I don't know what the issues are or have been, but Mac Jones pretty much hasn't done shit all year except when he played us. So yeah. I'm kind of worried. Not really worried, but very. I don't know. I don't know if there's necessarily any solutions on the team. I feel like we're gonna have to go out and get somebody, and usually we do. Usually we go out there and trade for somebody. So I guess we'll see as the season develops. It's still early. Guys are getting used to the new system, but just my. And Nicholas Morrow had an amazing game. He had 3 sacks, 4 pressures. He was all over the place, so I don't want to hate on him or Zach. Zach Cunningham also played really well. 12 tackles by himself, I think. So maybe it's not as bad as I'm making it seem to be, but I thought we would really crush the Commanders, or I thought that we should. I didn't think that we would. But division games are tough, so we'll have to rebound next week.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. When you mentioned the front seven, obviously the defensive line is always going to be the dominant part of this defense, but the linebackers have been somewhat of a surprise, a good surprise. I've been happy with the way Morrow's played, with the way Cunningham's played. You lose Nakobe Dean early on in the season, so it's a shame you don't really get to see what you have in him yet. At some point I imagine you'll get him back, but really, you just notice, especially yesterday, that they just have a gaping hole in that secondary with being. That either nickel or they've now moved Bradbury inside and put Jobe on the outside, and they were just kind of, especially on that last drive, just picking on him, man. They were just going after him, and it's very obvious. So, like you said, I mean, whether it's safety or whether, there needs to be some additions made or some sort of, solution that's probably, like you said, not on this team that needs to be found, because obviously you lose Avonte Maddox. He tore his pec. He's probably going to be out for the year. I know they like to maybe. No, he's probably out for the year. You're not going to get that guy. It's unfortunate, man. He's a great player. He just cannot stay healthy. It's just one of those things. Football is a dangerous, rough, violent sport, and it has not been good to Mr. Maddox. But I guess. The good thing you want to just talk about, you talked enough about the defense, the offense, like you said, the offensive line has done great. I think we forget, too, that there's 2 new coordinators on both sides of the ball. So it's going to, the fact that we're still 4-0 and we have, not really played great football at all. I mean, the offense for the first time yesterday kind of looked, it was good to see the passing game. This team, no matter what, is going to be able to run the ball. I have no doubt whatsoever in my mind that they will just exceed at running it going forward. You get Jason Kelsey and the boys going, especially you get the tush push that everyone's getting all angry about and all riled up about, which makes no sense to me because then you see other teams try and do it and they can't do it. So it's just it's a play that we've gotten good at. Are they going? The thing is though, what I don't understand about that conversation is, are they going to eliminate the QB sneak overall, or is it just the fact that people are pushing behind them? Because I still think whether they're pushing behind them or not, they're still going to run. Like, we'll still run that play with immense success because that's just, we have a quarterback who squats 500 pounds. That's a big thing, and he's 6 foot. He gets low and he powers forward. It's not every team has that. Justin Herbert got stood up on a QB sneak yesterday that almost cost them the game. So. I think that's a lot of bullshit for nothing, and I think I saw fucking Chris Sims like calling for the injury.
Oh, the worst.
It's like that dude. Like, listen, anyone. That's why I tell people on here all the time when I talk about Hurts. You can tell people can't let go of the Hurts takes. Like there's probably 50 hours of me talking on here saying how bad of a quarterback he is and that he could never be the player that he's become today. I was wrong, man. Like, it's okay to be wrong. You just got to admit it and move on, man. Like, this guy has grown so much since he's joined the league. And he obviously has great weapons and a great offensive line, but he himself has become a very good quarterback. And you saw them throws down the sidelines to A.J. Brown and him standing in the pocket, making plays, finding the open receiver. I'm with you, though, on the Dallas Goedert thing. It just seems like he, especially for people out there who have him in fantasy, like me being one of them, it's just, notice, like, he doesn't get targeted at all. And whether it's if he's open or not, I don't, and I don't really see him open. It's like you said, like, the first couple weeks you were like, oh, wow, like, they missed him. And then, or the second week, they fed him the ball, but it was 6 catches for, like, 29 yards. Like, it was... He's really not getting those like chunk plays like he was. I mean, even in the Super Bowl, them down the sideline, him dragging his feet, like he was a big part of the offense last year. And it's just another thing where they have I don't know if he's fallen off a cliff, which I don't really think that to be the case, but I think that's more just of an example of they have untapped potential on this offense and even on the defense. So there's no reason but to not feel good about what's going on here.
Yeah, he's been probably the biggest disappointment. For me, offensively, on defense, I think it's probably been Darius Slay. I mean, he had a bad game yesterday against the Commanders. Terry McLaurin did what he wanted to against them. De'Ami Brown did whatever he wanted to against them, which is
that's not good.
A tough look. That's their wide receiver 3, maybe even 4 with
never
Curtis
a good
Samuel
sentence
in the mix.
when you have to say that, though, for the record.
A couple of weeks ago, he gave up almost 100 yards against the Vikings. He didn't look good in that game. And he just really hasn't looked good all year. He had 10 tackles yesterday, but that's I don't really want him to get 10 tackles. I want him to have 2 tackles. I don't want him to. Right. Like I said, I know he's 32, almost 33, so that's kind of where it starts to go downhill. And James Bradbury's not much younger, so that kind of worries me there, especially considering we have nobody behind those two. So if one or both, kind of slip up or fall off just a little bit, our pass defense might really be in for something. Also, Terrell Edmonds, number 26. Anytime I see him, he's in the wrong spot. So, and he played all game. He played every single snap next to Reed Blankenship.
What about B-Chalk? I was told that nickname yesterday, which absolutely fucking cracked me up.
B-Chalk.
B-Chalk, because he's white as shit.
Yeah. I don't love it, but I don't love it. Not because it's disrespectful to Brian Dawkins. I'm the biggest Reed Blankenship supporter. I just think it sounds dumb. Sounds very stupid. But listen, Josh Jobe playing almost every snap. Terrell Evans playing every snap. It's not great, in my opinion. Zach Cunningham, Nicholas Moore having to play 60, 70 snaps. I think it's something we definitely have to look out for. I also probably rather have seen Mario Goodrich over Josh Jobe today, but I don't think he would really give us any help either. Maybe Elias Ricks. I don't know where they were talking about him in all preseason, and he hasn't played in the regular season yet. I don't know if he's hurt, but I would like to see some new faces come in or, something.
It seems like a lot of those other guys, these options that we talk about, aren't ready. Like, the Keely Ringos and stuff like that. They're not there yet. They were meant to be developmental sort of players that you put them on special teams or the practice squad, and you try to hopefully get them to that point one day. It's just... they're not there, and it seems like the fix for the secondary is outside the organization right now. So it just depends on what is going to be available and what you're going to go out and get. We haven't really seen a lot of Sidney Brown either. I don't know.
He got hurt.
When did he get hurt? Like that's
2 weeks ago. Not this week, but last week.
What I don't even know what happened to him though. Like,
I think it was his either
that
his
guy.
shoulder.
That guy
or
was
his
flying.
hamstring.
The thing is though, you can see why he gets hurt though, because he tries to murder people. He tries to kill them.
He plays a little crazy. I guess let's see if it was. I thought it was his. His hamstring. I guess he had a hamstring injury, which everybody has. So he didn't play yesterday. And also, I think who else didn't another safety not play? Right, Justin Evans didn't play also. So man, I mean, really testing our depth though. But yeah, Sidney Brown in his limited snaps this year has been per Pro Football Focus our third highest graded player on defense. Again, only 16 total snaps, but his his coverage ability has been good. He obviously fucking brings the boom. He's a very he kind of reminds me a little bit of Reed Blankenship. Very versatile. Reed Blankenship can run down the field with receivers. He can come in and honestly just a great tackler and hits pretty hard too. He's been one of our better players on defense. Jalen Carter, obviously like to see him play more, but he's we're getting there. He's still young. He's still raw, which is insane to think about considering he leads the team in pressures that not even close really, and hurries and all those stats pretty much. So I think maybe some of the issues on defense are a little people aren't talking about it enough, but also I think I might be looking too deep into it. Maybe it's a little bit of both. So we have the Rams next week, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Tyler Higby and his sister. And then after that,
Jets.
We have Jets, Dolphins, Commanders, Eagles, Cowboys bye, and then things really don't get easy like at all. Especially we get a bye and then we come out of the bye. I will be there, so that's probably a loss for the Chiefs game. Then we get the Bills, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks on the road. Like that's just a gauntlet. That is a gauntlet, and hopefully we're healthy by then. I think getting Nakobe Dean should help a lot. Takes a little bit of pressure off Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow. But, I just think our pass defense is going to need a little bit of help, just a little bit. Unless Slayer, Bradbury take a big step back, then we're going to need a lot of help. But
I just think that they're missing somebody out there. You can tell.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if just one person will do it. It seems like they need a safety, just another somebody. I mean, even if they're able to get a Sidney Brown or one of those guys to come back and maybe they can just kind of fill that void, but I think you just need that other corner. That kind of, you can put Bradbury back on the outside, put somebody inside, or whatever you want to do. These guys, Job was getting cooked yesterday, and it was very obvious, and you could see that there was nothing we could do about it. You can't let Sam Howell drive down the field on you to tie the game with 1:40 left.
Absolutely no excuse.
It can't happen. And I know A.J. Brown took the penalty there, and it kind of move them up, but still, we're the Philadelphia Eagles. We have one of the, we were in the Super Bowl last year. You can't let that happen. You can't let Sam Howell score a touchdown. It's different to get in field goal range, but you let them go all the way down and score a touchdown. That cannot happen. But
the first two possessions, they just walked us down like it was nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
They had the ball for half of the first quarter.
Yep.
Like I was like looking around at games. Some teams are getting the ball again. I'm like, we haven't had the ball yet. Like they were 8-17 on third downs, 2-2 on fourth. Just cannot let that happen. We were 4-12 on third, 2-2 on fourth. We outscored them, outgained them yards wise. But there was just multiple times. Also, we had, I think, 12 penalties, 11 for 80. That's unlike us. They were 4 or 5 in the red zone. Just, they they won the time possession battle. That usually never happens to us. They had 5 sacks, right? I think. Yeah. So I don't know, man. We didn't play a great game at all. But honestly, one of our MVPs, Jake Elliott.
Yeah.
He's been, I think, the best kicker in fantasy. I think he's probably been the best kicker in general this year. He's making 3 or 4 field goals a game. I don't think he's missed yet. I could be wrong. But he's just been consistent.
I think he missed a game, one in New England in the rain, if I remember correctly, or an extra point or something. I forget, but I remember everybody going "fuck Elliott," and I'm in the back. I'm like, well, he's not that bad.
Meanwhile, he has how many game winners? You know. So,
hey, listen, man.
Yeah, I mean, we have a new punter, and his first punt, he got booed off the field.
Yep.
Other than that, I think he was okay.
Only in Philly.
He is from Texas A&M, so I'm not against booing him. But Braden Covey, also pretty solid punt returner. I think he's finally settled in. Gets us like 10, 15. Got a 20-yard return yesterday. So also Jamison Crowder. Can't believe he's still in the league. He's their punt returner, the Commanders, that is.
Yeah.
I don't think really much else to go off. I think sometimes maybe our passing game. I think they're not going to do it, but I think we could definitely use a third receiver of some sort. I don't think Olamide Zaccheaus is really. I think
not
he's
a fan
okay.
of Mr. Zucchini.
Mr. Zucchini, no. I think he's fine, but him and Quez Watkins battling for the wide receiver 3 spot. Also, is Quez Watkins hurt?
Yeah,
he didn't play?
he's got a hammy as well.
I was gonna say, all right, that's good. I haven't seen him play all year. It seems like so. Maybe a wide receiver 3. I don't think they're gonna go out and get a receiver because they have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, but it's definitely it wouldn't hurt. I'll say that. Maybe a backup lineman, but they feel confident in most of the guys they have. So.
And these are problems they would have fixed, had they not felt good about some of these guys. But I do for sure believe that they need to go out and get somebody in the secondary. I don't care who it is. It doesn't, the Buda Baker, like that's the one we've been talking about here in Philadelphia for a long time. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if they want to really, shell out the coin or how much it's going to cost. But at the end of the day, they need somebody. It doesn't have to be a big name, but it needs somebody that you can count on and trust to maybe stay in front of somebody and not commit a pass. They called a horrible pass interference on Darius Slay yesterday, too.
That was so bad.
It's just I hate that ticky-tack shit when they don't call it both ways, or and they called one of them in the fucking the night game, in the Chiefs-Jets game, which was horrible. But
typical Chiefs, huh?
Yeah, man. They always, Taylor Swift's involved, so now everybody's getting calls, and they're trying to keep that
everything
the money ship floating. So,
Zach Wilson playing the game of his life, and then immediately after the game, Rodney Harrison is trying to get Chris Jones to pretty much call him a bum, and Chris Jones is like, "No, he's a star. That's a star play right there." And he's like, "He's not a star. You're a star." Fucking absolutely pathetic.
Yeah,
just had to get that off my chest.
Well, Rodney Harrison's a cheating scumbag, so you don't have to.
Yeah, he's a loser.
Yeah, you don't have to get.
David Tyree will always own him, and that's just what he has to live with.
There you go. So he's just a Patriot lackey. That's
typical literally a typical Patriot. My roommate said it best.
Scumbag.
Typical Patriots comment. So
other than that, though, I mean, we do have some great games on the horizon with the Bills and the Dolphins, and big time games. Chiefs, all of these teams are doing great right now. So it's like that we have some big time problems or hurdles.
The Rams are going to be tough.
Yeah, the Rams are always tough. Like those teams like that are always. I mean, they just won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. I know they're not that team anymore, and they probably won't have Cooper Kupp still. We don't know when that guy's coming back or what the deal is, but still, you're going into their house. We'll probably have a large contingency there, but we're gonna have to play well. They still have Aaron Donald. They still have a pretty good D line. It's not gonna be an easy night. Yeah.
That guy's been insane.
Puka will probably have his way with Josh Jobe, so you gotta. I'm a little worried about that, but at the end of the day, I think they take care of business. I think they still get the 5-0.
Yeah.
49ers are the only team in the NFC, really. I mean, a little bit of the Cowboys, but I think the Cowboys have shown you that they still have that tendency inside them that things can fold at any moment. It's just because you're taking care of business against the Patriots, who. It seems like they are trending in the opposite direction. I love people will go and compare the Eagles and Cowboys' performances against the Patriots, and it's like Bill Belichick had 3 months, 4 months to prepare. A whole offseason to prepare for the Jalen Hurts' Philadelphia Eagles. He had 1 week to worry about Dak Prescott and their run game and all that bullshit. So don't even bring that my way, but. Yeah, that's all. Pretty much all I got to say about the NFL, my friend. So,
also got to be careful. One of the biggest surprises in the NFL this year has been Kyron Williams, also with Puka Nacua for the Rams. So two very good young players kind of coming out of nowhere. Kyron Williams, I believe, is very near and dear to your heart.
He is. Notre Dame, baby.
So I also loved him coming out of college. I didn't think he'd be good. I didn't think he'd be good, but I didn't think he'd be pretty much Austin Eckler 2.0 so far in the NFL. But
hey man, that's part of the game, baby. It's just you never know. Some of these guys come out of nowhere and they become these elite I don't know. Like, I'm still not convinced about him, but I guess he keeps doing it. So if he's gonna keep doing it, why? Who am I to say he's not the player that he has been? Because he really's been. He's just taking care of business. He's dominating. He's like setting records for rookie receivers in their first 4 or 5 games. It's
crazy.
And I saw something that, like, they play off of him and they give him off coverage and stuff. But I mean, the guy's still getting open. He's still catching passes and he's still making plays. So,
especially game winner.
Yeah, exactly. Who am I to shit on him? But that is your NFL. That is your Philadelphia Eagles wrap up. Ty, we got Red October here in Philadelphia, and I know you aren't. You're not the biggest Phils fan. You are a Dodger blue, through and through. You were a fan of them when they were playing at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn. I know you. Your grandpappy's pappy was there watching them. But seriously, MLB playoffs. I love the MLB playoffs. Whether the Phillies are involved or not, it makes it way better, obviously, that the Phils are involved. But just this whole, the wild card round, it's kind of added. Although I did love when they did the one game, it felt like it was a fucking huge. Like, the Phillies were never involved, but it felt like oh shit, the Cubs are playing the fucking Nationals for the last spot tonight, and you're like, all right, it's time to fucking lock in. But I guess, Ty, I did want to ask you from an outsider's perspective what your thoughts are, not only on just the Phillies, but just the MLB playoffs overall, because I think the Phillies are, obviously I'm going to have the biased look, and we'll get into the Phillies in a little bit, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts on the MLB playoffs overall.
I think Manfred getting rid of game 163 was stupid, but other than that, I am excited for the playoffs. I think we have some pretty good matchups. Rangers Rays is going to be awesome. Diamondbacks Brewers, couldn't really care less about that, but Marlins Phillies, honestly, I think with the Phillies' struggles against lefties, Jesus Luzardo could carve them up. Honestly, I'd be very anxious, I guess, if I was a Phillies fan. I think that's going to be a tougher game, a series, I should say, right? It's 3 games or 5?
3.
3, okay. Games. So I think it's going to be a little tough. I do think they should win, but we'll see. I feel like the Phillies have been hot lately. I don't know who exactly, but I don't know, man. You never know. Like, baseball playoffs are really some of the flukiest and just randomest, most random, I should say, postseason, in my opinion. So, I mean, the Giants, when they won their World Series, they won like 80-something games both times. Yeah, man. I mean, we saw what they did last year. The Padres smoked the Dodgers, and I was like, yeah, there's no way the Phillies are going to beat the Padres. Smoked them. Wasn't even close. So, we got Twins, Blue Jays. That should be good.
D-backs,
really.
Who cares? I mean, yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's who I wanted to play. I wanted to play the D-backs because I think we would have just, without Gallen, and I mean, what are they? Merrill Kelly, like. Gallen, even though as good as he is, he does not really, like, in Philadelphia, I think we would have probably smacked him around. Because I've been in the building and watched them smack him around before. So that kind of didn't worry me. The Marlins were really the, like, worst option for me of all the teams. Because, like you said, you just named a couple reasons why. They have a bunch of lefties. They have great starting pitching. I know Alcantara is hurt, right? So that's why
he's done.
He's done for the year. I remember saying that. They obviously didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. They probably were like, kind of threw their hands up midway through, September, late August, September. They were like, well, what are you going to do? And this is a Marlins team who came in here, not all that long ago, and we're, Jesus Sanchez is hitting bombs and fucking. They got the Burger Boy still out there taking care of business. They still got Jazz Chisholm. Their lineup doesn't scare me, pretty much at all. That's not the problem. It's more the fact that they could shut us down, and all they would really need is a couple, runs here or there to win some of these games. That's what worries me in some aspects. But Luzardo, really not all that worried about him. Braxton Garrett does worry me. I know they hit him up a couple times this season. I think he's got a 5 ERA against us just this year. Excuse me, but. I don't know, man. Like you said, anything can really happen in these 3-game playoff situations, especially like even when it was a 1-game thing. It's just anything really can happen. But you were a team that made the World Series last year, and you pretty much ran through the playoffs. You really didn't run into any sort of pushback until you played the Astros, who you really pushed them to the brink too. You had them, on the ropes down 2-1, and with a game, 2 games left in your own building, and you kind of just let that opportunity slip through your fingers. I think, although they kind of shored up the bullpen from last year, because last year's bullpen was just basically Sir Anthony and Alvarado. This year they have a lot more options, but I don't trust a lot of those options. That being Gregory Soto. Kimbrel has kind of, like you've been calling for this all season. I mean, he really was strong, throughout the summer, and then he just kind of has fallen apart. They have a whole fucking light show for this guy when he comes out. And I was there, a couple weeks ago when he served up an absolute nuke to center field, and that they're blown save. We have to win the game in extras, and it's like I think I love the ghost runner being away now in the postseason, so it's just we can play some real fucking baseball. I also think it's weird that they're doing like the schedule is the same every single day, like 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock are the AL games, and then 7 and 8 for the NL games. It's just, I feel like I'd be pissed if I was the Rangers fan. I'm like, dude, I gotta, if I work, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I gotta fucking, I'm gonna miss all of these games. Like, I've been watching these guys all year long. Like, what are you gonna take off work or like a Rays? Like, I'm sure you're down there in Tampa.
Time to quit.
Yeah, it's like if you're a fucking hardcore Rays fan, you're just gonna miss, your season tickets at 3 o'clock, all 3 games. Like, it's just kind of a weird situation. But at the end of the day, the Phils still they're the reigning NL champions, so they have to go out there and defend that. And I think the good thing is that they've played the Marlins. They're comfortable playing them. And I think with I think the lefty thing is more of a mental hurdle that they'll have to climb over, because really at the end of the day they only have a few. They're kind of a well-balanced lineup. They have Schwarber, they have Harper, they have Stott, who are their kind of top lefties, but they still have Real Muto, Castellanos. They have some good right-handed bats. Alec Boehm, who really hits lefties well. And it looks like they won't be playing Marsh. That's the thing, is will they be sitting Marsh for these games? Because it's Topper has really not played him. He has kind of platooned it in a sense when these lefties are scheduled to start. So are you going to see Johan Rojas playing center field with maybe I guess I'm trying to sit here just thinking I guess Harper would play first. Be Schwarber, Rojas, Castellanos, and then I guess Marsh might still play them, because they probably just go Marsh in left, Rojas in center. I don't know. I really don't know what they're gonna do. I guess that's the one fascinating aspect of it. I don't know what other option there would be. Maybe play Edmundo Sosa and put Boehm at first and DH. Harper. I don't know if that's really gonna give you that much relief. And Trey Turner being another right-handed bat, I totally forgot about him too. So,
never heard of him.
Yeah, I know you're still holding beef against him, but
no, fuck him. It's really his girlfriend. She can kick all the rocks in the world. I miss the East Coast so much. Fucking spare me.
Oh, that's okay, man. Listen, at the end of the day, you guys are still a juggernaut of a team, and you're saving money for Ohtani's, DHing abilities next year. And
future Yankee.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I am so glad that I know people were trading let's trade for Ohtani, and half of the season of Ohtani, and that you see how that would have paid out for everyone.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want anyone that has the stink of the Los Angeles Angels on them, because what a loser organization that is. Led off at the top by Mike Trout. So I just wanted to make sure I got that dig in there before we get out of here. 73 wins. Guy broke his wrist twice this season. So hopefully, though, the good thing about Trout, like I've always said, is Trout makes sure he's a smart man, that his season is done just in time for the Eagles season to heat up, so that he has prime seeding for these games, and he's ready to get back to what he loves, and that's being an Eagles fan. So there is my paid. I'm responsibly paid to diss Mike Trout every podcast that I get the chance to. So no, but at the end of the day, I think the Phils do take care of business. I think the Marlins are, they're the they are kind of like a hot-ish team, right? I mean, they're not. They kind of just backed into this though. Like the Cubs fell apart at the end of the season. That's really like the team that that should have been in this situation. The Reds fell apart. They were a team that everyone was talking about, and the Padres. The Padres, I mean, talk about an absolutely loaded team. Loaded. I don't know why I was going to go there, but loaded team, and they just nothing. They have no heart, no life, no nothing, and they want I mean, think about the names they have: Tatis, Soto, Machado, Hugh Darvish, all these people. Blake Snell almost won the fucking, or did he win? Is he going to win the Cy Young? I mean,
I think
you don't know yet, right, Bob?
I think it's going to be. Is it going to be Strider?
It's him, Strider, or Steele. Because I know Justin Steele was up there, but I don't think so we just did this. Then we just looked this up like a couple podcasts ago, or when we were just talking about it. But yeah, because we were saying like, man, if you could go back and get Blake Snell odds, you would have been in good shape.
Yeah, we should have. They should have. Listen, we should get money off that.
Yeah,
if he wins, that is. It looks like, I guess. So it's funny the highest, the pitcher with the highest WAR in the league, in the major leagues, I believe this is accurate, would be one Zach Wheeler.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's
not going to win it.
No, it's unfortunate, but his ERA is 3.6 and his FIP is 3.1. Fielding independent pitching, I think that's what it stands for. Fielder independent pitching. So a lot of his numbers are very good. He strikes guys out, doesn't walk guys, doesn't give up homers. Other than Zach Wheeler, I do have questions about their starting pitching. I had a bunch of people who were like, I saw a bunch of Philly fans who were like, yeah, we fucking we love Taijuan Walker. I was like, no. I would not attach myself to that guy. And I will always have love for Aaron Nola, but he is just, sometimes he's just giving up 500-foot bombs. So, Kepler also doesn't like Aaron Nola. So that's how you know he's not. That's how you know he's not good. But after Zach Wheeler, what do you have? It's like Ranger Suarez. Is he somebody you can really count on? I don't think so. Christopher Sanchez, I don't really know much. No. I don't watch him pitch too much. The trade deadline acquisition that I told my father about that was so good, Michael Lorenzen, not been good. He's been opposite of good. Yeah. So it's like, do you just have a bullpen game with a bunch of Jeff Hoffmans and Andrew Velasquez and Junior Marte?
Andrew Velasquez and all those guys are out. All right, don't even bring. Those guys are dead. They're not around anymore. It's gonna come down to you're gonna see Nola, you're gonna see Wheeler. I think you're gonna see Suarez. I think you just have to trust that. I mean, that guy pitched so well last year, and he's pitched pretty good down the stretch. If Walker can't start a game for you, then he can't. I don't think you're gonna have to worry about him in this round specifically. So he won't be on the roster, I would imagine. But he can't be on the team if he's not starting because he's his first inning ERA is 7 or something like that. He has been horrible to start games, and he kind of picks it up as it goes on. Christopher Sanchez throws a 92-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle every time, it seems. It's just you can't trust him either. So you really don't have a fourth starter, and that sucks. I think I honestly would have to go with Taijuan Walker. That would be my choice. And I don't feel good about it. But I think when you hand me with those other options and I'm looking at them and I'm going, no, I can't do that. I can't responsibly put Christopher Sanchez in Game 4 of the NLDS. With maybe the season on the line. You're asking for a lot. This ain't Jamie Moyer walking out of there, dude. This is Christopher Sanchez, who had the chance to kind of solidify his spot here in this rotation and proceeded to get blown up a few of these games in those last couple weeks. So, yeah, I mean, that is the Phillies pitching has been something that is kind of a topic of conversation around here where that's the one thing that could kind of hold them back. And maybe they should have gone out and gotten an elite starter, but you were kind of counting on Aaron Nola being that guy. And Aaron Nola probably cost himself $100 million plus this season by just the way he pitched. He has just been brutal, man. In many games. There'd be games where he came out and threw a masterpiece, and then his next 3 starts where, the Phils are up 5-0, and he proceeds to get blown up in the 4th inning, and he's done. You're like, wow. But everyone's like, well, he gives you 6 innings. He gives you 6. It's like, yeah.
So is Lance Lynn.
Exactly. Like, you get 6 innings, but he fucking gave up 7 runs. Like, yeah, we're still... But the offense kept us in the game by getting runs, but what does it matter when this guy's getting destroyed? Like, I'm just glad they didn't pay him. Really, I'm truly glad they didn't pay him. And I know the Phils are going to have some money this offseason. And you know what, though? The ace in the hole, I would love... it would be a Hall of Fame moment is if the Phillies do make it to the World Series and Rhys Hoskins comes out after tearing his ACL in spring training and hits a fucking daddy into the left field bleachers, and the place the place goes nuts. And
Strike 3.
His ass is hobbling. Yeah, honestly, what's going to happen is it's going to be just dirt balls in the dirt. And he's going, all right, and Rhys Hoskins strikes out for the 4th time tonight. It's tough.
And everybody's going to want to trade him
to start. Yeah, no, I mean, he's going to be a free agent too, so there'll be a lot to talk about this offseason. But right now, let's get ready for the Marlins, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get excited.
Either way,
I think they win 2 in a row. I think they just take care of business and get out of there. I'm gonna say that right now.
It's a bold take.
It's a different animal down there in Citizens Bank Park. I just want to say that.
It's true. It's true. Especially playoff time. Everybody's coming out, bringing their mother, their father, their kid, their turtle. Everybody's getting on their feet. Everybody's getting. I'm excited. I'm excited for postseason baseball. Postseason baseball in Philly is very crazy. However.
Oh boy!
Hate to be, However, I do think they're up against it this year. I mean, I think the Dodgers are probably cooked with their arms. Like they just, Julio Urias is out here beat up his girlfriend
down the step. That's not a good look. It's not good.
Was it the LA Galaxy? I don't know their name. Where he was a special guest.
Are you for real? I didn't know that.
Or no, it was the Miami. It was Messi. I think he was one of Messi's special guests or something like that, and he was. Yeah, he decided I'm just gonna beat up my girlfriend again. The first time I got away with it. This time, not so much. Also, apparently, Trevor Bauer is innocent.
I watched that video. Yeah,
there's that.
He somehow made me feel bad for him. That's what a feat that was.
I still hate him because he's just absolutely annoying. But I wouldn't mind seeing his curveball back in LA. I'm just saying. But Walker Buehler done, Dustin May done. Kershaw it's crazy because he's like 35, 36. Yeah. And honestly, he's been fucking good. He's been really good this year as long as he's healthy. And he's being tasked to backpack this rotation again. So when he inevitably pitches in a game 1 against somebody and gets shelled, everybody can be like, he's a bum. He's a fraud. The worst, most overrated pitcher ever because he gets rocked in the playoffs, even though he's had a lot of good playoff performances. It's just that goddamn 6th and 7th inning. Always fuck him. But if he struggles this year, the same conversations are going to be had when he should be in no position to be the number 1 of this team. It should be Walker Buehler or Urias, who for some reason regressed this year massively right before he was supposed to get paid. And then he, gets in trouble with the law. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions. I mean, I like Emmett Sheehan. I like Ryan Pepio. I like Gavin Stone. They're all young. They have good pitches. They have good stuff, but they're too young. They're just too young and inexperienced to rely on them. And, we got Lance Lynn who, he pushes for 3 innings and then he gets he shoves, I should say pushes. He shoves for 3-4 innings and then he gets absolutely belted with solo home runs. So, I don't know what to think about their pitching. The bullpen has been spotty. Evan Phillips has been awesome, but last month or so he's been a little sporadic. So, I trust our bats. I trust our experience. Dave Roberts, don't love him, but he has so much experience in the playoffs. Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, they're probably going to be 2 and 3 in MVP voting, even though, you can make the argument that Mookie should win, but it's going to go to Acuna, and it is what it is. But I don't think anybody beats the Braves in the NL this year, and the AL is going to be really, really interesting. I think the Rangers could do it. I think the Astros could do it. I think the Rays, the Orioles, maybe. The Orioles did just lose their stud closer for this year and next year, which is just terrible. But I don't know. The AL is completely wide open. Maybe the Twins get hot. They've never really had playoff success, but they were pretty much leading the Central all year. They're getting Royce Lewis back. I think they're getting. I don't know if they're getting somebody else back. I don't think Buxton. He might come back and hit, but Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Blue Jays. Maybe they finally put it together. Bichette and Vlad. They have some interesting pieces down there. The AL will be interesting to watch. I don't think the NL will be. Unfortunately, I think the Phillies, Dodgers, Braves take care of business easily, and then whenever they face each other, it's going to be the Braves or Dodgers. I think, and I can't pick against the Braves. They just have their lineup is fucking insane. Just insane.
The only thing about the Braves, though, like you mentioned about the Dodgers, their starting pitching has kind of fallen apart here towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Like losing, what's his name? Charlie Morton. I think they lost. Is Max Fried?
I don't know if Max Fried's back. I don't know.
I don't know. Like,
I feel like I haven't paid attention to the MLB once September started, and that's because of football. So
it's tough. It is tough to keep track of all this stuff because I'm locked in on Notre Dame football. I'm watching UFC. It's fucking. This shit is stressful. It is stressful, but these are good problems to have. So but I am like I'm with you though. Like you can't like responsibly pick against the Braves. But there is something to be said about just the Braves are kind of the Phillies are in their head. They're changing how they're going to prepare for this. Apparently they were stale. Coming into this last year's playoffs, but it really came down to they got dog walked. On the road here. That first game that the Phillies won there was kind of like not lucky, but it was just like a battle. It was a back and forth. So you come here 1-1 and we just. Strider gets absolutely dominated, and we just dog walked them both games. So, really wasn't all that close.
Good luck.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to happen again necessarily, but I would just say that the Phillies are a better team, better lineup this year than they were last year, and they have pretty much the same pitching rotation as they did last year. So, who's to say it can't happen again? So I feel good though. You are. I know you told me that, but I feel good about it. But. Sixers came back today for media day and whatnot. Do you care?
No.
Right.
I mean,
neither do I. We don't even have to really go into it if you don't.
Teams are getting better, especially in the East, and we are not.
Drew Holiday's a Celtic. Dame Lillard's a Buck. The Sixers still have James Harden, who's out there saying Daryl Morey's a liar, and I know me and you have said on here like we're not really all that fond of Daryl Morey, but we're definitely not fond of James Harden either. I mean, the guy's a He's not. He's a fucking fraud. I'm not going to go into. I'm not going to get all angry on here again. But
I don't know. So I saw something on Twitter like an hour or two ago. He said he was going to make what did he say? Let's see. I don't know if I could find the quote. It was something about he was going to report to camp eventually, just to make things difficult on us or something like that. Let's see if I can find it really quickly.
I would just make sure that like he's going to make sure he gets paid. So it's like at the end of the day, if you can pay him, make him go away, then I would do that. I don't know if you can even really do that. But I mean, he's risking not getting not being able to go into free agency and stuff if he doesn't show up. Like he won't let that happen though. I know he's not an idiot, so he'll make sure he goes here. And I don't know how is he going to make things more difficult than he already has. Whether he's here or not,
he has quit on in 3 years. Third team in 3 years that he's quit on. So I think listen, nobody wants him. Nobody's going to the Clippers are not giving up Terrence Mann and young players for this absolute loser of a player that all he does his whole life has lost. That's all he is. He's a losing player. He's just like Russell Westbrook, an absolute fucking loser. I mean, so what did Daryl Morey say? In 20 years of working in the league, I've always followed through on everything. I don't know about that. Every top agent knows that. Everyone in the league knows that. Yeah. Again, I don't know about that, considering you had to tamper for multiple players that
I don't believe either of them. That's the thing. Both of these guys suck. So it's like I'm not even on anyone's side here.
Yeah, I want them both out, in my opinion. He said he's going to eventually show up for camp and make the situation, quote unquote, painful for the Sixers. Whatever that means.
That's what I'm saying. How
you're going to show up and just not try? And just be a negative there,
like you did in Game 7. Who cares, man? You stink. You stink. You are and that's the thing. You'll have people like that fucking clown Aiden Laporta. He's got to be 5 years old who just farms mentions all day long on Twitter. All day, just posts the same shit over and over again, and he's somehow making money off that. That's the worst part. The new Twitter though. Truly, is that Elon has fucking incentivized these mush brain idiots to just farm mentions all day long and just, oh yeah, well you know, somehow if I reply to him and call him a fucking clown, that he, you know, that makes him money. That's like, that's a joke. That's an absolute joke, for the record, because it just incentivizes these idiots to keep spouting this nonsense. He keeps acting like James Harden is going to come back to this team somehow and this is going to be a productive situation. It's not. We need to somehow move on from James Harden and not have it be like literally getting nothing back. Like, we have to get something. Like, that's why I was holding on to hope that maybe we could get Drew Holiday and just get a guard who can play some defense, because we need more players who play defense. I know that's. It doesn't really seem like...
Good thing we signed Kelly Oubre.
Yeah.
Good thing we signed Kelly. Listen, I love Kelly Oubre. Jayhawk for life.
Absolute
However,
shot chucker.
Shot chucker. Not a very efficient shot chucker. And doesn't play defense. Also doesn't pass the ball. So I'm not sure what we got cooking up, but we'll see if Nick Nurse can, you know, make something of the situation that we have. We'll see if Joel Embiid is mature, you know, at his ripe age of 29, almost 30. He also has 3 countries that he's deciding between who to play for: the U.S., France, and I can't think of where he's from.
Cameroon.
So that's I didn't know that. I didn't know we were doing that with you know, national countries. We're doing a college reveal of what college we're going to. It's going to be, should I wear the hat, the USA hat, or the France hat? It's like, all right, what are we doing, bro?
What a joke. And the Sixers have created such. I have such apathy for them now that I just truly do not care. I
at all.
Like, they came back today, and back in like maybe 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh, let's go, like basketball. See, like, I love basketball. It's my favorite. I play it all the time. It's my favorite sport. But the Sixers have ruined it for me 100%, because I have no. It's not even like there's no like. I don't know. Like, I don't have any, not only faith, like, we never really thought they were going to win the championship before. I guess maybe we thought somehow like they would. Like, last year, I thought especially when they were, I mean, they kind of, that was the worst job.
They had chance.
They pulling the rug out, coming back home,
pathetic.
Up 3-2. I was like, dude, this is it. Like, they're finally going to do it, man. They really, like, and we could have beaten the Heat. We could have battled with the Nuggets, and this whole story would be different. James Harden probably gets that contract that he, you know, was begging for. But listen, that it's crazy that we talked about this many times, but not to kind of beat a dead horse. But everybody knew it's bad when everybody knows when James Harden walked in the door that day that he was going to have a fucking stinker. Like, they just knew the pressure was on him, and he folds every time. Both of them folded badly. How the fuck am I supposed to care about you guys now? Seriously, like, how am I supposed to have confidence that Joel Embiid, you know, as he has more, you know, goodwill in my mind just because he's been here, he's the process, you know, the love that I have for him, kind of taking Philadelphia basketball out of the dumpster and giving it somewhat of relevance in the national, you know, scene, and getting those TNT games, and he's hit some big shots, he's had some big moments, but they all just acted like cowards at the end of last season, and I can't ever forgive them for that. And they need Maxey. They need him to fucking make a big leap. They need Nick Nurse to kind of just make water into wine. And Joel Embiid's still going to be Joel Embiid. They still have Tobias Harris, and I don't get they won't make, you know, this trade, that trade. They won't do this because they are prioritizing cap space in 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, I implore you to go online right now and Google 2024 NBA free agents and tell me who are they going to get that's going to shake this up. Who are they going to get that's going to make you feel differently about the Philadelphia 76ers? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it's no one. There is no one out there that's going to save this team from what the ultimate thing that's going to happen is, and that's trading Joel Embiid for fucking pennies on the dollar.
Whatever.
And that kills me inside.
Yeah, so I guess Embiid pretty much said he's going to play for Cameroon if they qualify for the 2024 Olympics. Good news for the USA Olympic squad. It looks like they're bringing their top guys. LeBron said he wants to play. Kevin Durant said he is playing. Bam said he's playing. DeRozan, Booker, Brad Beal, Jaylen Brown, Mitchell.
What about Steph?
Zach LaVine. It's crazy. Steph's never played in the Olympics for the U.S. Isn't that weird? Mm-hmm. I don't see anything about him. Hold on. He's talked about playing a couple times in recent months. Trae Young has said he wants to play. I don't know how he hasn't been on a team. I mean, the disrespect. If you're going to put Donovan Mitchell over him, it's like, okay. Same with Fred VanVleet. But Kyrie Irving said he wants to play. Draymond, Paul George, Kawhi. I guess Embiid could still play for the U.S. AD as well. Zion, Kawhi. I think I said that. Paul George, yeah. So it looks like we're going to have our guys.
It seems like a lot of different shit can happen, though. Some of these guys get hurt. Some of these guys
ankle,
they're worn down. They don't want to play. But it's about the big dogs. Like you saw what happened in this FIBA World Cup this past year. Like the big dogs didn't want to play. So therefore, if one of them doesn't go, then especially like if LeBron or somebody like that says I'm not playing, then the rest of them just say I'm not playing, and it's a trickle down.
If LeBron. Pretty much the opposite. If LeBron says I'm playing, guys are like, yeah, I'm playing too. It's kind of like if the number one high school recruit in the nation, the number one quarterback commits to a school, other receivers, other linemen, other players are going to be like, yo, I'm going to try to take a look at that school. Like you said, trickle down effect, a domino effect.
Yep.
Big name comes off the board, other names will follow. So I saw a lot of people saying, I guess a lot of people were defending Mr. Noah Lyles, the sprinter or the track star, that said that we're not the best international or whatever he said exactly. I thought that was just an absolute joke of a comment, considering all of the best players in the world, they're in the league.
They come to America. Like what he said was basically like, what are they called? World champions of what? Basically, like, well, how are they the world champions? Like, okay, like in a strict sense, yeah, sure. The people who are world champions are the people who win at the Olympics or the FIBA. Like, but really though, the best teams are in the NBA. All these people come to. I think Dame Lillard's like. That's the thing, though. Like, if you want to say that, okay, like you want to be a context literal person, that's fine. But then Dame Lillard's like. If the NBA champion went on a tour of the club teams in Europe, they'd get smoked. You're a fucking asshole, dude. Like you're lying. You're just lying for fucking. You're just trying to get people going. Because no.
Listen, I get Barcelona and Real Madrid. I'm sure that the teams that they have play really very well together, and they shoot the three ball, and they're used to international rules. There's just no way in hell you're telling me a starting five of like Curry, LeBron, Zion, Kawhi. Curry, I already said him. Somebody, any combination.
Even at the Nuggets, if you just sent the Nuggets over there, they're going to be at the very top of their game, and the
Nuggets aren't losing to some Barcelona.
In a 7-game series, they're probably winning in 4 or 5. I really do believe that. I don't. I mean, I'm sure like anybody can get beat. Like those guys in Barcelona, they're not bums. They have a very good team, but they don't have Nikola Jokic. They don't have Jamal Murray. There's a reason that those guys are playing here and not there. So
who was it? Jabari Parker just said the reason he's not in the NBA. Okay. He just stated a couple of reasons why he's not in the NBA anymore. I think the main reason is nobody wants him.
They're not that good anymore, dude. It's okay.
You can't shoot. You're not athletic.
Disintegrated. It's not. There's nothing to be ashamed of, man. But
yeah, man, go play in Greece. You'll make a lot of money. Bang some hot chicks. I love that for you. But don't say you're leaving the NBA because of this, that, and the other. When the only reason you're leaving the NBA is because the NBA doesn't want you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, Ty, before we get out of here, shout out to the Flyers getting blown out in all their preseason games. I did just want to mention them. But
shout out to Connor Bedard.
He looks good.
He looks amazing.
Of course he does.
In my opinion,
I'm watching Mitchkov and some guy talking in Russian in the background. So at least I love that for you that you get to watch your guy actually play in America.
Bedard reminds me of Connor McDavid in the way that anytime he has the puck, he's gonna do really good things with it. The only problem is he's not nearly as fast as McDavid. McDavid's the fastest player literally ever.
He's unbelievable.
Helps. Yeah, it's probably the best way, pound for pound, skill for skill. Attribute for attribute, I think he's the most talented athlete in the world right now.
Wow.
Could be wrong, but I think he's. I just don't see any. I don't see any equal. I don't see anybody being equal to him. And I would say it's probably him. I don't know who else I'd honestly put up there. John Jones.
John Jones. Hey, shit. I don't even know
who's so dominant in their sport.
Ronald Acuna, if you're talking about talent, like it's just
Yeah, I guess, like but that, but I think Mookie Betts had the MVP lead over him for most of the year. But Novak Djokovic possibly, or maybe him, or I can't think of his name for some reason. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that
the other
guy.
tennis player.
Yeah, that guy. Who Alcaraz?
Yeah, Carlos Alcaraz. So like, I don't know. I think McDavid's up there, but Blackhawks still going to struggle, and at least Connor Bedard's playing, and they're going to lose a lot of games, but it's okay.
Exactly. So before we get out of here, I just want to talk about Canelo. Absolutely dominating Jamal. Is it Jermel? Jermel. Okay. And hey, Jamal showed up. Jamal showed up, dude.
He did.
Clapped his brother up. It was a kiss of death. Yeah, it was. You know, they don't like each other.
Yeah. Hopefully going forward now, because Jamal, they both went through a lot pretty much at the same time, and then they had to, kind of not really talk to each other. Jamal is in Pensacola training with Roy Jones Jr., but he's still working with Ronnie Shields. And also he has a fight coming back against Jose Benavidez Jr., the brother of David. That's going to be on the undercard of David Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade. That should be a very good card. So yeah, it was really cool to see, honestly. I don't think there should be any reason that, they're not on talking terms, but they're twins, so you never know what their dynamic is, right? But yeah, Canelo just pretty much walked all over him, Jermel that is, and did what he wanted to. I mean, it wasn't, it was a pretty boring fight. Let's be honest. The first round they landed a combined 2 punches, 2, yes, 1 each, and Canelo won because he landed the best of the 2, I guess you could say. It was really hard for me to find any Charlo rounds. I think maybe if you want to give him the 11th or give him the 5th, maybe, I guess. But he wasn't throwing his jab. How many jabs did he land the entire fight? Let's see if I could find 40 of 283. So if he's not getting his jab off, he's gonna have a hard time winning a fight. Jermel, that is. And if he's not getting off his left hook, he has a nasty left hook. If he's not getting that off, he's also not going to win. And I mean, there was times that he would let his hands go and he would be able to connect with Canelo. And I was like, oh, okay, there you go. Just try to do that more. But I honestly think, I'm not going to go as far as Terrence Crawford went. Right after the fight, Terrence Crawford said,
that shit was
basically said, be a fucking man. Be a man in there. You got embarrassed, you fucking butt. That's basically what he said. Actually, let's see what he said.
That's how you know you're boozed up watching the fight. You got to be you're just fired up. You're like, you know what? It's crazy. If me or you did that, nobody would bat an eye. But the fucking world champs, yo, you fucking stand up, stand on your morals. Be a man. Go out on your sword. You're like, holy shit, dude.
He said he went out there, laid down, let Canelo spank him like he was his daddy with no type of resistance. He also had another tweet that I believe he deleted. And then he had another one. He said, congratulations, Canelo. You made the so-called lion look like a baby cub. I'm not going to go that far. I don't think, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he didn't try, what a bum. He was just in there to get paid. But he was 2 weight classes up. And I honestly think coming in at the weight he came in at, which was 167, pretty much the same weight as Canelo, was a big mistake. I think he should have came in a little closer to 160 to keep that speed advantage. There was nothing he could do to have to mine that gap, the strength gap. Canelo's bigger, stronger, and he always will be. He bullied him in there. He got him in headlocks multiple times and was squeezing him, kind of just showing him, listen, I'm the top dog. I'm the strongest person in here, and this fight's going to go how I want it. I'm going to dictate the pace. And the problem I always had with Charlo winning this fight, and I thought the odds were kind of crazy. I mean, we see wide boxing lines all the time. I thought Canelo should have been minus 1,000. But the problem with Charlo is he backs up too much. He backs up way too much. And it wasn't just the Castano fight. It wasn't just the Tony Harrison fight. It was the Jason Rosario fight. And Jason Rosario is not nearly as clever and tricky as Canelo. Canelo, what did he do early in the fight? Body, threw big hooks to the body, trying to soften him up. And then he kind of started, what he does a lot of times, he did to Callum Smith, and it really worked in that fight. He likes to hit you in the arm, the shoulder, the elbow, everywhere. The chest even, to kind of get you to drop your hands and really just to grind you out, to really just bully you and wear you down and be like, I'm the bull in this fight. And I'm going to fucking chop you down. And if I can't hit you in the face right away, I'm going to go to the body. I'm going to go to the arms. I'm going to get you tired. I'm going to get your arms tired. And then I'm going to finish you. He didn't get the finish here, obviously, but I don't think anybody really expected that. He did get a knockdown. Charlo took kind of the Miguel Cotto knee, if you will,
Smart.
It wasn't the punch that hurt him. It was like, I can't take any more shots in this current, moment.
Because he got sniped with that right hand, then he threw an uppercut right after, and you just saw him go, oh, all right, I'm going to need to take a knee real quick. You're like,
Yeah, but he was able to survive that round and the whole fight. Honestly, I was kind of proud of him for being able to survive. I had a small play on Canelo rounds 9 to 12. That didn't come to fruition. How many shots did Canelo land? Yeah, he landed 134 to 71. So I mean, just not an active fight at all. 78 power shots, 56 jabs. So Canelo mixed it up pretty well, pretty even attack. And then he won 119, 108, 118, 109, 118, 109. So, yeah, I think what's next for Canelo, he should fight David Benavidez. I think that absolutely has to be next. Stay at 168. I don't think he should even think about fighting Dimitri Bivol again, but he wants it for whatever reason.
Yep.
And Jermell Charlo, I think, should absolutely stay at 154. Listen, I wouldn't be against the Terrence Crawford super fight at all. But I want to see him fight Tim Tszyu, who fights this weekend, maybe next weekend. No, he fights this weekend against Brian Mendoza. That's going to be a good fight. And the winner of that obviously gets Jermell. And people have been saying, oh, Jermell's scared. He's scared of Tim Tszyu. I'm like, is he? Because he just fought Canelo. So I don't really know how he's scared to fight Tim Tszyu. I don't really think that makes sense to me. But boxing fans, they say the darndest things, I guess you will.
Yeah, they'll really just say whatever, man. That's that in MMA, as we know. People just say shit. That's another mention farming fucking factory. But
yeah,
that's my new
also
term.
kind of crazy that Canelo and Floyd was like 10 years ago. Absolutely insane.
I saw him clapping him up. By the way, I do have that tweet. This is the one I saw that fucking cracked me up. He tweets at Charlo, goes, "You went out sad. Didn't even try to win. All you did was try to survive. You should be ashamed of yourself." Like, just absolutely fucking...
A little too much, in my opinion, but, the undisputed double champ says what he wants, right?
It's boxing,
in the words
man.
of Conor McGregor.
It's...
Boxers are a little bit... MMA fighters get a lot of flack because I think they speak to the media and they do interviews a lot more than boxers.
Yeah.
And they're not as coddled as boxers are. So you only notice Sean Strickland saying he wants to kill somebody and eat their face. But boxers, they're like the kings of head trauma and CTE. It's not MMA fighters, it's boxers, and they will say anything. They will say anything. Conor Benn and his team, after failing multiple drug tests, so before he failed a big drug test a couple years ago, he fought Chris Algieri and beat the shit out of him, knocked him out in the fourth round. A month later, he pisses hot, test for everything. I mean, his piss could burn a bridge. If
burn
it
through a fucking metal cup.
Steel. Could burn through the, whatever the fuck. And Chris Algieri, a month after getting knocked out, was pissed, rightfully so. And I think when did Conor Benn fight? I think he fought Friday night. And Chris Algieri was supposed to be on the broadcast, and Conor Benn and his team had him removed because they feared that he would bring up his negative tests, which he said he wouldn't have done. But that's boxing. They're scared. They're scared that somebody's going to talk, truthfully about somebody who cheats. And Matchroom, that's Eddie Hearn's group. They just have people tested hot left and right. I mean, Robert Helenius, Dillian White, Alicia Bumgarner 2 weeks ago, Conor Benn however long ago, Sokolowski, he tested hot. Amir Khan tested hot. Who else? And some of these guys don't even get in trouble. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But the Nate Diaz famous quote: "Everybody's on steroids." That's very true in boxing. And Chris Eubank, I think, tested hot once. So those British fellas, they don't care. They'll take all the juice in the world.
All you gotta do is look up one picture of Conor Benn, and you know what the deal is, man. I mean, that guy's a fucking unit, man. For a boxer, it's insane to be looking like that.
He's on the secret supplements, that's for sure. But it was a very good main card. Canelo Charlo, I saw a lot of people complaining because it took a while, but I mean,
I like it like that, honestly.
Three of the four fight. Yeah, I mean, it's better than having nobody you ever heard of. Do you want to wait till midnight, or do you want to think at 9 or 8 and then watch up until then? We started off the main card. Mario Barrios upsetting Yordenis Ugas. I got that pick right. I think he was like plus 185. Mario Barrios was. Yordenis Ugas still, I guess, not really recovered from the beating Errol Spence laid on him. His eye blew up once again. I think he's like 37, 38. He's probably done. Mr. Ugas had a great career, especially as an amateur, but Mario Barrios with the upset. And it looks like Mario Barrios could get Boots Ennis next, which wouldn't go well for him, but would be a big money fight anyway. Right after that, the 20-year-old Elijah Garcia with an emphatic 8th-round TKO over Armando Resendiz, who I had bet on. And it was a war. It was an all-out war. They were fighting in a phone booth pretty much from the opening bell up until the 8th. That was an amazing fight. 2 young middleweights. And then the co-main was just an absolute, one of the worst scorecards I've seen ever. 117-111 for Erickson Lubin. He gets the unanimous victory over Jesus Ramos. Not sure how or why. I had a parlay that all I needed was Jesus Ramos to win, and I would have hit for like 150. And instead, I get fucked over.
That's fights, man. That's the fucking combat world, dude.
It's crazy how this keeps happening. So Patricia Morse-Jarman, a female who, if you remember correctly, C.J. Ross, Adelaide Bird, 2 of the worst judges in boxing history with some of the worst scorecards in boxing history, also females. I'm just saying. Patricia Morse-Jarman is 76 years old, okay?
Yeah, that's more of the problem than anything else.
Yeah. She had it 117-111 Lubin when it easily was 116-112 Ramos, 115-113 maybe. There's no way in hell Erickson Lubin won more than 5 rounds, let alone 8 or 9. That was bad. And if you thought, maybe it was just a one-time mistake, nope. Not at all. She had it 98-92 for Rancis Bartholomew in one of his last fights. That was just an absolute joke. Should have been a draw. She had it 96-94 Canelo over Caleb Plant in a fight that Caleb Plant didn't even win a round, I don't think. She gave Nakatani 2 rounds against Lomachenko in a fight where he literally didn't win a minute of that fight. She didn't count a knockdown one time. She robbed Clay Collard one time, and she robbed J-Rock, Julian J-Rock Williams, on the Laura Jarrett Hurd undercard. So she has a history of doing this. If you just search her name, you can go back to 2016, 2014 of people tweeting about how stupid and how awful her scorecards are. So that's just another stain on boxing.
That's the only good thing about MMA is that there's only 5 rounds for them to fuck up as opposed to 12 that they can just kind of finagle around and just
more finishes in MMA. So you
exactly.
Don't go to this. But pretty much people, there's not that much controversy on Twitter because Jesus Ramos, again the nephew of Abel Ramos, kind of slowed down and kind of didn't put his foot on the gas. So a lot of people, when they see a fighter fight a little like disappointing, put on a little bit of a disappointing performance, one thing they like to do is completely ignore that fighter getting fucked over in a decision, and by that's for saying, oh, well, he should have got the knockout. No. He should have won the decision that he earned. Doesn't matter if he... You can fight your B or C fight, but if you win 8-4, you win 8-4. It doesn't... The other fighter doesn't get rounds because you were expected to do more. That's not how this works, So, very upsetting, very depressing. And
that's the state of boxing, baby. But
fucking pathetic.
I got a heart out, ladies and gentlemen. So that's all you get is an hour and 13 minutes. I'm sorry to everyone out there who wanted that hour 15, but ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Shoulder Strikes. Oh Jesus, it's not actually that. I'm so used to after boxing. That's what we talk about.
But it can be.
But this is the Hot Take Hot Box, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt McSweeney.
I am Ty Capone.
And as always, ladies and gentlemen, go Irish, go Notre Dame, go Phillies, go Eagles,
go Birds,
and don't go Sixers.